atheist sisters fleeing Saudi Arabia found dead in Australia. On June 7th, 2 Saudi national women were found dead in their apartment in Canterbury, New South Wales, Australia. The cause of death remains a mystery, as authorities found no signs of forced entry or foul play. The bodies were in an advanced state of decay, as the pair had likely died a month before the bodies were found, prompting the authorities to declare an inconclusive cause of death. According to The Australian, sisters Asra Abdullah Alsehli, 24, and Amaal Abdullah Alsehli, 23, were denied a protection visa due to their sexuality and religious beliefs. The siblings claimed they were persecuted in Saudi Arabia, as one was a lesbian and the other was an atheist, and allegedly one of them was also escaping a forced marriage. The investigation revealed the siblings arrived legally in Australia on a valid visa and applied for a subclass 866 protection visa. According to some reports, both applications were declined due to insufficient evidence. The local police have stated that their family back in Saudi Arabia is cooperating with the investigation and are not considered suspects at this time. So before we dive into this, I just want to cover a few things. I have seen conflicting reports on a few details of this case, and so we just have to talk about that for transparency. I have seen some reports saying that both of them were atheists, some saying just one was an atheist. I've seen some reports saying that their asylum case was denied because they were saying we need to seek asylum because we're atheists and one of us is a lesbian. And some reports are saying that they didn't receive asylum based on those claims. And then other sources are saying actually their claim was still being processed. So I'm not precisely sure which is true because, of course, when I was looking for more information, it was behind a freaking paywall. Anyways, and so there's some conflicting information there. And then I've seen some reports saying that they thought that they were being followed by a private investigator. Some say that there was maybe a forced marriage that was involved. There's a lot that isn't clear. But because of this issue, I actually literally just got a text from Zara K sending me a link talking about now the whole issue of ex-Muslims and atheists is getting more attention in Australia because of this case. And wait, what does this comment from AGA say? It said their mother had come to visit them once and the family has directed police to deal with the Saudi consulate for anything further. Interesting. And I think this is really important to talk about because when I was looking for coverage of this in the media, the fact that they were atheists was basically barely mentioned at all. Essentially not mentioned. It was like one line, like one was an atheist. The lion's share of the news, all of the news only covers the fact that they had an LGBT identification and that's the cause for their asylum claim. And this really frustrates me because we need more people to be aware of how severe things are for atheists in Saudi Arabia. So this was one of the reasons why I wanted to cover this story was because the atheist angle of this needs to be named.
Well, good job. Thank you for doing that. This is
yeah, it's important.
Yeah. Once again, reminder that atheists, nobody gives a crap about atheists, apparently. And also, there was in the live chat, AGA is also confirming that Australia doesn't recognize apostasy as a valid reason for asylum. Well, maybe after this they should. No?
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully this causes some pressure.
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's causing any pressure given that nobody talks about their atheism. They're only talking about the LGBT status. By the way, we're not like dissing the importance of, like, I hope people understand that we're not saying atheism is more important, like you being
oh my God, of course not.
Like, we're not saying like, oh, being LGBT doesn't matter and you're not going to get a lot of crap for that. Like, obviously you will, okay? So, like, we're not like, oh, atheist matters more than LGBT. We're not doing that. We're just saying, like, atheism should also get some attention here. Yeah. But, like, is there anything we can do to, like, pressure the Australian government to take this more seriously as a case for asylum?
Well, AGA is saying, oh, wait, I can't select things on my phone. AGA is saying we're working on a campaign to change this. Hey, AGA, if you want me to get in touch about boosting that and how we can work together, please let me know because, yeah, we'd really like
should
to
cover that in the news, maybe.
Exactly. And it's also unfortunate that Australia is one of the worst places in the world. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. Australia is really bad at handling asylum cases in general. Australia is really bad about handling refugees, like horrific. So I think it's really, I don't know why they chose Australia. I don't know how they ended up there, but I think it's a shame because I don't know, maybe it's just wishful thinking, maybe it's speculation, but I think they would have been taken more seriously elsewhere.
Okay, read this comment.
Darko is saying, how is the cause of death still unknown though? So at this point, because their bodies were found a month after they died, so it's very difficult to, it is more difficult to establish the cause of death when the bodies are in that state of decay.
How did it take, where was the body again? Sorry.
In their apartment. So what happened?
Does it not smell?
That's probably, I don't know the details, but that's probably how they were eventually found dead. It's really horrible. It's really horrible. And the thing is, based on reports I was reading, they were extremely reclusive. They didn't like to go outside. They had clearly been in Sydney for a while, but hadn't experienced Sydney based on someone who met them at a girls only queer event. She talked to them and was like, they were very shy. They didn't want to engage in people. She was asking them information about themselves, their background. They really didn't give out information. They were only short answers. And so she got the sense that they had been here, but not gotten out of the house that much. So they were very isolated, and probably because they were isolated, that contributed to not being identified for so long, because less people at least knew to look for them, you know?
Any ideas of who might be wanting to kill them?
I cannot responsibly put forth any speculations at this point. Based on all the reporting I was reading, there wasn't anything that I could really bring forward. There were some reports that they thought that they were being followed by a private investigator. Who was involved with that? I have no idea. But there's something very insidious that happened, certainly. Forever Stormy is saying, unfortunately, it's impossible to prove you are an atheist unless you have some electronic evidence like chats or you're famous. It is difficult, and the part of the problem is that I think it's based on things and campaigns and experiences I've had working on in the past. Frankly, atheists have an undue burden of evidence when it comes to proving their apostasy, versus if you're a Christian, they just say, oh yeah, you're a Christian in a Muslim country, you're going to be persecuted, blah blah blah. But like the government of Canada, for example, seems to think that if you are a person that's just trying to get asylum in Canada, that you'll just go say willy-nilly, oh, I'm an atheist, blah blah blah, just to get asylum. But that's not true, because everyone knows how seriously that is taken within Islam. So people's willingness to just be like, oh yeah, I'm an atheist, like as just a way to get asylum, is, I think that's inaccurate. What's more likely is for ex-Muslim atheists to pretend to be Christian for the sake of getting asylum, or pretend to be gay for the sake of getting asylum. I'm familiar with instances like this because they know that that is more likely to get their claim recognized than being an atheist. Atheists have an unfair burden of proving their atheism in comparison to other religious or persecuted groups. And in terms of proving it, it really helps to get in touch with atheist organizations who can write recommendation letters for you. Get familiar with your case, write recommendation letters for you. This is something I have experience with, because basically that has to serve as your proof that you're an atheist, is you have to get people in atheist organizations usually to vouch for you, or people from your community to say, I know that he renounced Islam, etc., etc. Forever Stormy is saying, Saudi families are known to kidnap their girls from other countries. Maybe that angle needs to be checked if these girls were so scared to step out. I think it does. Yeah, there's a lot that needs to be investigated, definitely.
Yes.
And it also reminded me a lot of, something I don't remember saying, atheists don't get easy asylum. No, not at all. Not at all. It also reminded me of the case of Rahma Muhammad a lot. You know, how she escaped from her family after leaving them at a vacation on Kuwait.
Yeah, you make an interesting point. Like, you should take people who claim to be atheists more seriously, because if they were lying, they would go with something that would be in favor for, like, you would be like, I'd rather lie that I'm a Christian, because that seems to get you a lot more support than atheists, right?
I think people are more likely to claim. I think, yeah. Okay, so because the accusation that has been said by like Canadian government officials to other people I've worked with is, oh, they could be a Muslim but just lying to say they're atheist to get asylum, blah blah blah. Do you think a believing Muslim is more likely to say that, oh, I'm gay, give me asylum, or more likely to say I'm atheist, give me asylum, as a lie? Which lie do you think a believing Muslim is more likely to choose?
Well, given that there's so much support for the LGBT community and not much for the atheist community, I think LGBT would be the better lie. Would be, yeah.
But also from like a Muslim background, I think it's more likely to say that I'm a gay than I'm an apostate.
No, it depends. It really depends. Your experience might vary. There's some family members, especially, who are very disgusted by anything, more disgusted by gayness. Depends on the country, depends on your family, depends on your community. It's varied. But the main argument against this is that you guys already accept asylum cases from things that people could be lying about, right? So this is not a unique problem. We understand that, and we're not saying that people don't lie, that they're atheists to get asylum. They definitely do. We have seen it, right? We have seen that some people doing it. We're not saying this doesn't happen. We're just saying this doesn't happen more
exclusively to atheists.
Yeah, more than the other cases they already accept. Like, you don't accept atheists as a case for asylums, but you accept claims for people being gay or Christian, and they could be lying about that as well. So whatever due process you do to evaluate those, just do the same thing for atheists. Why are atheists uniquely being singled out as people who could be, as claims that people could be lying, right? So
yeah. Well, to wrap up the story, I hope that what happened to these sisters is identified. I hope that perpetrators are found, arrested, held accountable, of course. And I hope that this puts more pressure on Australian authorities to actually start working with people on the basis of apostasy.
Yeah.
It's critical. It's actually against international rights conventions that Australia is a party to. If you do not recognize people as an asylum claim on the basis of their apostasy, that's discrimination on the basis of belief.
What? Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, because atheism or non-belief is protected as a reason to pursue asylum, because it's, usually they say it used to be just religious language around it, right? But now they say freedom of religion or belief. We fit under or belief. If they fail to fulfill that, that's a dereliction of duty.
Guys, if Atheist Republic was a bigger organization, we would be involved in lobbying these things, taking these things to court and stuff like that, right? This is what Atheist Republic was like, ideally could have been, right? So support Atheist Republic to grow.
That still is the vision. That's the vision.
Yes. So help us get there one day, so we could make, like, kind of like what Freedom from Religion Foundation is doing in the US. We want to do a smaller version of that, but globally, like basically challenging these asylum laws, and also any laws in India, laws in any country, like in Malaysia and Indonesia. We want to be there. We want to get our local Atheist Republic consulates to get connected to human rights activists and lawyers, and start, find a case that needs our attention, somebody being in jail for apostasy and stuff, and then start leading fundraisers for the lawyers, and basically do one case at a time, and either do lobbying or sue the government, or find somebody who's being harmed and or imprisoned or hunted down or targeted in any way, and find lawyers to protect them. This is the type of activism that, if we had the resources, we would have been loved to get to involved in. So if you could support us in any way, please help us, just like liking these videos or like donating anything. Will maybe one day get us there. So just letting you know what our long-term plans are.
Wait, there's a funny comment by Humdani in the chat saying you have to eat a baby to prove your atheism to immigration.
Well, I mean, if you want to make it less, if you want to do a less harmful version of that, just put a baby in front of them and see, and then see if they want to eat it. Like,
does the mouth water? Is there salivation?
Yeah, just you don't actually have to feed them the baby. Just check their reaction. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you starting to get hungry?
Okay. Wait. Yeah. I saw. Yeah, guys, you can contact Atheist Republic on atheistrepublic.com if you guys need to contact us. There's a contact page there. All right.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.